All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC tweet of the night from the Pitt Football Twitter account. 17. That's what they're ranked in the AP preseason poll. They're in 16th in the coaches poll. This is the highest they've been ranked since 2010, Chris. So they're doing some right things over at Pitt. They got to figure out who their quarterback. I tried to get it out of Pat Narduzzi. He was on the sidelines of the Steelers game. I was down there before the game. He came to watch Kenny Pickett, support Kenny Pickett. Tried to ask him who's taking over for Kenny Pickett. He wouldn't give it up. Wouldn't give it up.
I would be very surprised if it's anybody other than Keaton Slovis. I'd be surprised if Nick Patty beats him out. I would put it at 95 or higher, the percentage likelihood that it's Slovis. The thing that Pat Narduzzi has finally started to build, I mean, truly, is some depth and sort of cyclical talent on the defensive side of the ball, especially the defensive line where they look scary. Maybe this is not hyperbole here, Richie. You can find other people, not just me, saying this. They might have the best defensive line in the entire country. They're that good up front. And so when you can get after the quarterback the way that they can, when you have that kind of talent, I think you've got a chance in most every game because you can get after the opposing team's offense without having to blitz. They should be a good team, but now, as we know, it's going to be the big challenge for Pitt, one that they haven't really met in the past, and that's meeting preseason expectations. They can sneak up on everybody every once in a while, but can they actually rise to the moment when people expect them to?
It'll be interesting because they have two tough games. Even though West Virginia isn't ranked, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a close game. They got to win that, and then they have Tennessee at home. So two tough games to start their schedule, and then you can't overlook Western Michigan like they possibly did last year. So, I think it could potentially be a pretty good season for the Panthers. Let's go out to Ray in Allegheny County. How you doing, Ray? Ray, you there?
Yeah, Richie, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, hey, man? Well, if Travinski gets hurt, man, is Pickett going to be able to step up and be the franchise quarterback of the Steelers? Hey.
Well, I don't think Mitch Trubisky can be the franchise quarterback just because they wasted a first round. I don't want to say wasted. They used a first round draft pick on Kenny Pickett. So they're going to give that guy every chance, right, Chris, to be the franchise quarterback. He's going to be the franchise quarterback. And if he fails after 2 years, then they'll have to look for someone else. 3 years. I don't know how long you would give a quarterback like Kenny Pickett.
What was Ray's call even about? Did he say if Trubisky gets hurt, can Pickett step up and be a franchise quarterback? Trubinsky, I'm sorry. Not Mitch Trubisky, Trubinsky.
I don't know if he thought Trubisky could be the franchise quarterback. That's what I thought.
But he said
Trubisky.
Well, he said Trubinsky, and then he said something about him getting hurt. So
anyway,
yes, it's going to be Kenny Pickett's job
before.
Yeah, it's going to be Kenny Pickett's job probably before we get into Week 10 at this rate, and that's just kind of how it's tracking. If Kenny Pickett continues to deliver the goods in the preseason, what it's going to do is not win him the job in Week 1, Richie, but it's going to, like in Mike Tomlin's mind, I'm sure he has a set of circumstances, under which Mason Rudolph, or no, here I go again. Now, Ray's got me all messed up. Under which Mitch Trubisky starts the season but then loses the job to Kenny Pickett. Like it might be a win-loss record, Trubisky's performance. With every good preseason effort by Pickett, the list of circumstances that it would take Mike Tomlin to make a switch at starting quarterback gets smaller and smaller. I think that's the relevant thing that Kenny Pickett can accomplish as far as becoming the starter right now in the preseason.
All right, let's go out to Bob, out in the home of Oakmont Bakery, Oakmont, Pennsylvania. How you doing, Bob? Also the home of Carnivores, The Lot, Pub 333. I love Oakmont, Bob.
Ah, yes.
This is our call of the night.
Yes. You've named all the Richie. You've named all the most famous things that are in Oakmont. Congratulations and thank you. You've definitely covered all your bases and named them all.
The Oaks Theater. I mean, you have Hofstadts. You got all kind of stuff at Oakmont.
How about that Sheets on Halton Road, Richie?
I think that's considered Plum. The Sheets on.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't really think that's Oakmont because half of Oakmont Country Club is actually in Plum. Did you know that?
They should call it Oakmont Plum Country Club then.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, well, thanks for giving me a chance. Okay.
We rarely do that on this show, but go ahead.
I know that. I'm well aware of that. And you stuttered a little bit, Chris, just like Ray did. So, but anyway,
Just like
Rudolph
what?
had
What are you talking about?
100 passer rating, and you don't even talk about him. Where's
Who?
he going? What are you doing with him? Mason
Because he's
Rudolph.
going to get traded.
Bob. Leave Bob on. I wanted to talk to him. What's he complaining about? Why are people so upset when they call the show?
He's mad that we didn't. Well, he's mad that I made fun of Ray and then got one name wrong. But he's really mad that we're not talking about Mason Rudolph and his 100 passer rating. So, to satisfy Bob in Oakmont, Mason Rudolph threw the best pass of that preseason game. He also threw the worst pass, which should have been intercepted. He played there was more good than bad in Mason Rudolph's game, but it's pretty irrelevant because he's not going to be a factor in this quarterback derby. He might be traded. At the absolute best, he will be an expensive and merely okay insurance policy as a third-string quarterback for this franchise.
You know, one of your colleagues over at 93.7 The Fan, Jeff Hathaway, I love him. He brought up a stat. He was doing the show with me one day last week that he said, I don't know how far he went back, and I have to look this up, that a quarterback drafted in the first round dressed every game that he played. Dwayne Haskins was the one guy that didn't, but he was suspended for something. You have to go so far back to find a quarterback that was drafted in the first round that did not dress or wasn't the backup. So that leads me to believe, if you're saying that leads me to believe that you have to make Kenny Pickett the backup. But you're not going to keep Mason Rudolph around to be a third quarterback.
Pony had somebody tell him today that I believe it was a former GM, that the Detroit Lions are very interested in this guy. So I don't know, maybe Dan Campbell sees something in him. Maybe didn't Mason rip off that big run and truck a guy in the Lions tie last year? Who knows? Maybe the kneecap biter himself saw something that he really liked in Mason Rudolph and has had a fancy for him ever since. But yes, Kenny Pickett will be the backup, and then eventually Kenny Pickett will be the starter. Like I said, probably right around week 10, if not before then.
You know, my thinking was they were going to keep all three quarterbacks. I don't know if they will now, depending on what happens with Kenny Pickett and how well he plays. But my thinking was that Mason Rudolph would be the backup, and he would be the short-term plan. Say something happened to Trubisky, he would be the guy that would come in and maybe finish the game and maybe start the next game. But Kenny Pickett, if it was a long-term injury, he would be the guy that would come in and finish the season. I kind of thought that would have been the plan.
I mean, Mike Tomlin wants to go better than 8-8-1 or whatever, or go 8-8-1 at worst. He wants to have a winning season. I don't know if he would have done short-term, long-term plan. I think Kenny Pickett gives you more versatility. If you're Matt Canada, he might be a rookie, but you have more tools in the tool bag there. You have more options because he's much more athletic than Rudolph, who was much more stationary in the pocket than the other two on Saturday night. So I'm starting to think that this long-term plan, short-term plan hypothesis, Richie, which is not what you said right there, is not the first time I've heard it, is kind of bunk. I just think that they're going to go with Kenny Pickett because they've probably already realized that he offers more and he brings more to the table, rookie growing pains and all, than Mason Rudolph.
Well, that's not what Bob in the home of Carnivores, The Lot, Pub 33, Hofstadt's, Oakmont Bakery, The Oaks. He thinks it's Mason Rudolph. Why are we talking about Mason Rudolph?
We just
Chris,
did.
I'm just disappointed in you.
Sorry, Richie. I'll throw it back to you right now.
All right, we're going to take a break. Thanks for watching on Pittsburgh CW. Also listening live on 93.7 The Fan.